First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
So the first thing we need to talk about is that microburst that happened in Palominas, Hereford area.
Yeah, that was quite a little burst out there. Put down 7 power poles, put electricity out for quite a few people, and I mean, just did some damage out there when it comes to the area, the debris, and my youngest son lives in that area, and we went out there that night. He was out of town and checked on his place, and boy, there were everything's everywhere, and yeah, it was a pretty powerful little microburst that came through there. But again, kudos to SSVEC and their linemen that went out there and spent the entire, I think it was 12 hours straight out there putting those poles back up, getting electricity restored. People don't understand the convenience of turning on a light switch until it's not there. Mm-hmm. And then to our sheriff's assist team and our deputies that were out there keeping everybody safe. So it was a nice collective effort, and thanks to SSVC and to all our public utilities that we were so close with.
And the Cochise County Road Department, they were out there with heavy equipment first thing the next morning, making sure, not for the microburst necessarily, but Mosen Road has got some wicked dips, and they wanted to make sure to keep those cleaned out and take care of that. So thank you to Cochise County Road Department.
We haven't had the storms that we used to have 10, 15 years ago. And Mosen Road, as you hit on those dips, it's ironic you bring that up, that, man, they used to flood. We get people stuck in them all the time. And we've been fortunate not to have that, even though we're all welcoming the rain and the moisture. But, yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen those kind of water floods, if you want to call it.
And so we have such dry weather. I mean, it's stupid, but we're welcoming the rain, but then we have like the other side of that coin where we're not used to operating in that kind of thing. Like, you don't have electricity because of a microburst. Who expects a microburst in South Sierra Vista? And then just moving that a little bit further north, Cascabel, the women see the wash, want to get out and take a look, and 2 women get washed away in that.
That was a miracle. Truly was a miracle. And we've had these in the past where, and these ladies had got out, were watching the water running in the wash. It was not raining at the time, or very lightly at most. And all of a sudden they said they heard like a train. And they looked up, and that flash flood hit them, knocked them both in the water. The one got out right away, got back to the shore. The other one went downstream. And our search and rescue team was out there all night. I was on call last weekend, so interesting weekend. And at 11:30, we suspended the search. We had a helicopter out there with us looking at and the odds of survival are so low. So the next morning, we kicked back up at about 6:30. They reconvened. 7, they were out there searching. And I give credit to my search and rescue team, our volunteers and our coordinators that were out there. 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, they located her, and she was pretty much buried in debris, in the mud, the trees. It's a miracle, A, they saw her, and it's a miracle, number 2, that she wasn't just buried alive. And so it took quite a bit of time just to get her out of there. She was in pretty rough shape. She's 77 years old, and but she's doing fine. She's doing fine. So that was a miracle weekend. That started the weekend off. But it also goes back to what you're saying, that whether it be a microburst, flash floods, I mean, Arizona's got some wicked weather when it comes to hitting you like that.
And it's so diverse. You can go, again, from, ground cracking dry to completely soaked in water. And people really need to understand the dangers that we face. Don't run through water. An inch of water running across a roadway can move your vehicle. Very important to remember that.
It is. And, it looks so calm out there. And I'm sure these ladies thought the same thing. When they heard that noise, I mean, by the time they could react, it was too late. And again, I'm sure they're both counting their blessings today. They're very appreciative, I know, of our search and rescue team that saved her life. Mm-hmm. And I put out a thing earlier this week on that. So again, it is. Arizona's unique in the weather, and that goes anywhere in the country. Know where you're going, know what your weathers are. Tornadoes, we don't get tornadoes here. I can't remember. I think we had one in Wilcox, 4 years ago? vehicle.
Right.
Touchdown in the same area, by the way, that they've had them in the past. But we just don't see the weather you see in the Midwest and other locations. Hurricanes we don't usually see. But we do have our uniqueness to our weather here.
And also last weekend, the DUI task force was out, and they did make 2 arrests.
They did. And 0 is the success plan. If we can get 0 DUIs, we feel like we're doing something when it comes to education, prevention, and the enforcement component of that. And fortunately, we got 2 people that chose. But I look at that in 2 ways. First of all, we saved the motoring public from a bad incident. And last but not least, we saved the impaired driver. Because when you're driving impaired, obviously you put yourself and others in jeopardy. So 2 good saves there by all the officers from Service to PD, I think DPS, and the Sheriff's Office. Usually Tombstone and Bisbee play in those 2. I'll just say, holiday weekends, cops go out and they work all the unique hours, midnights. I mean, we're out there all the time, call-outs. So when we have these events, these officers are coming out on their holiday times to work this. And these are grant-funded events. So kudos to these officers, deputies, and troopers that work this.
And so we have continually moving forward. We have so many things that you have your finger stuck in the pie with. So let's just bring up one that's recent. The Chamber, Sierra Vista Area Chamber. They have an event coming up. And so we're going to be part of that event, and we're going to be jumping right on board. And our team is pink, which is not a bad thing.
No. In fact, the other team members, since I wasn't at that one meeting, gave us the color sparkling pink. Glittering pink, or I think it was. Yes. And they never told us that until later on. But pink's not going to define us. Our actions will define us. And so it's a fun thing, but it's a membership drive for the chamber. And our chambers are so important in our communities because they drive community, drive businesses, and they drive economy, which is all we all support. And so this is a fun competition. The group they got that's helping us down here, we had a meeting this week, and Carol, you're on our team, and with many others, Eric Peterman from the Herald and SSVC, and just a great team. Ernie from Mule Mountain Pest Control, and a couple of my outreach guys, and just a whole bunch of members on our team. And our rival is Jackie Clay and her team. That's a fun competition when I say rival, but she's got this mindset she's going to beat us in this competition. She won't, folks. Trust me on that one. I hold my words here on this. But so it's a fun thing. There's 4 teams, and that we're kicking it off this month. So we're going to do a membership drive. So if your business wants to be part of the Service to Chamber of Commerce, like I talked about, please reach out to the Sheriff's Department, talk to Carol Kappas or I, and let's see what we can do. In fact, Grady, you're on that too. You're on our team also. So we're going to push forward. We got some good team members.
Yeah, he's part of the group. So anybody who is out there who has a business, I think that the Chamber is a little bit over 400 strong. They're looking at getting more members, and again, to bolster the Sierra Vista area, so not just Sierra Vista, but the Sierra Vista area for the Chamber. With some of the things that they're going to tell you about is, being part of the Chamber in this event, your membership includes, your membership is based on your number of employees. So you get $800 for advertising for the Herald, both online and in print. As part of that membership, you get $50 credit for making copies and whatnot at Staples. So it's other businesses coming into play, making sure that they can help give you something back if you're part of this membership. So if you haven't heard from Sheriff Mark Dennels and you need to be part of the the Chamber membership, get ready, because he's going to make sure that people are reaching out.
Oh yes, we are. We're full bore here, and it ends July 22nd of this month. We'll be done with it. But so we got a couple events here. But if you are not a part of the Chamber, you're interested in being in the Chamber, and you want to help our team, let us know. Let Grady know, Carol, you, myself, Eric Peterman over at SSVC, or Ernie Garcia from Mule Mountain Pest, and a few other ones out there. Let us know. We're excited to get you on board. And again, it's all about community growth, and that's what we're looking at here.
So it has to be Team Sheriff. Make sure people join
Team
this.
Sheriff, yes. And not Team Superintendent, Team Sheriff.
That's right. That's
There's
right.
a difference,
So we make sure that we get that taken care of.
I'm really hoping Jackie's on her way to work and she's listening to this going, oh, that's not fair. It's not going to be fair.
We have a radio show, right?
That's right. Maybe she should have one.
Staying in the community vein, we've also if you're a 501c3, we want to reach out to you or have you reach out to us because the charity ride's coming up and they've extended the deadline.
They have. So one of the things that we've done for the past several years, well, since its inception, is make sure that the Cochise County Sheriff's Office charity ride, all the money that comes in there with the American Southwest Credit Union being our main sponsor and partner in this whole thing, and Lolly
Yep.
Automotive, making sure that all of the money that comes into this event goes back out to our communities for nonprofits. So we started with one, we increased that to two, now we're up to three historically, and part of that process is you have to file an application. And last year, the recipients, there were 3 recipients, and they got, over $12,000 per group. That's a lot of money if you're asking for, some kind of help and making sure that you get funding. So we've only had extreme minimal number of applications this year so far. And we want to have more, because the more applications we have, the greater opportunity we have to select a charity or nonprofit that would benefit most from being a part of our event. So please, if you are a nonprofit, we try to select one that deals with children, one that deals with veterans, and one that deals with animals every year. So those are 3 focused areas, but we need to make sure that people understand it's out there. It's money. It's, it's a fun event. You get to be part of the event, and you get to be the recipient of whatever proceeds we bring in. And it's just growing by leaps and bounds every year.
It has, and it's the first Saturday in November is when we do this, but we need your application because we market you too as part of our event. So please, if you're in especially after where we've been in 2020, I would think a lot of nonprofits would like that to be part of this, because it's a lot of money. There's not many events that give that much money in one time donation. So please put your application in. And how do they do that, Carol?
So we have it on our webpage. So go cochise.az.gov/sheriff, or just at Cochise Sheriff, and you'll be able to find it. It's right there. It's big. It's bold. It's on the front page. Fill it out. You have until next Friday. The original deadline has come and gone. So the cops unit, Deputy Ed Gray and Sergeant Todd Linendahl came together and said, wait a minute, we really need to do a better job of getting people interested in this. Not that they needed to do a better job. Our marketing ability needed to get out there. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to reach out. These are, great people in our cops unit. They work really hard at this, but they need to make sure that they have people join in and that they can make appropriate selections from there. So jump on our webpage. Make sure you look at the application. If you are a nonprofit, please do that, because nonprofits typically have the onus and the responsibility of having fundraisers every year, or trying to get money coming into, infused into their charity. This is just a great way to do it. And so go online, cochise.az.gov/sheriff. Look at that big thing that says, charity ride application, and fill it out. It won't take long, I promise you. Get it back in, and we'll make sure that you're part of the consideration process.
Yeah, I just think it's a great program. And the COPS unit, our outreach unit that works within communities and schools, they put that together. And, well, I'll tell you, you hit it on the head, Carol, when it grows every year. I think last year we had over 500 participants in the event. I mean, it's just a neat event where the community comes together. Even last year, I mean, it was our best year we've had, even during a pandemic. So, again, please get your applications in, and hopefully you're selected.
And so we're just going to jump one more over. So we have hiring events, Arizona at Work. Eric does a great job at putting hiring events together. So we spoke, there's one today going on that we weren't able to participate in. There was one last week in Bisbee that we just couldn't participate in. It's just, logistics and personnel and getting everything done. But we are planning a hiring event in cooperation with Arizona at Work. And part of that is to see if we can't get public safety agencies, all together. So this is going to be news to people listening, so just wanted to let you know that this is in the very infancy stages, but we're going to grow it pretty quickly. Hopefully in August, mid-August, late August, that we're getting Eric and the Sheriff's Office together, see about getting all public safety agencies in Cochise County. And we're even talking if you work in Cochise County. So we're intending to invite Border Patrol, all of the police departments, the fire departments, the EMS, the ambulance services, and CCOM, because CCOM needs to be part of that.
Correct.
Making sure that we have this hiring event and have it localized and have, if anybody's interested in a career, you're going to go get your EMT recertification next week?
Next month.
Next month. So those are the type of things that last you forever, through your life if you choose to do that. Great career in public safety. You've been EMT for
25 years or whatever it's been, 30
right.
years.
And you don't let it expire. So it's something that if you start, you begin, you get your foot in the door, making sure that you can be part of the team. And it doesn't matter which team it is. It doesn't matter if it's local, state, federal, if it's going to be law, if it's going to be fire, if it's going to be EMS, all of those things together. And, we haven't formulated this yet, but we could even, think about public safety and public servants and nursing and things like that. So as we get further along, we'll definitely let people know. We'll let them know a time. We'll let them know a date. And so one of the other things that happens when we get this type of thing is, so you jump in, you stick your foot in the water, and you're right there in a public service position, and then you grow your career through one agency or through many agencies. So in our situation, we've outlasted a lot of different people. They come, they go, because they get what they need or whatever they're going to fulfill in their career mission, and they keep going. So that brings us to our chief. We have been notified that Chief Napier, obviously hired December 8th. He started January 1st with Cochise County Sheriff's Office as your chief of staff. And then now he's brought us through a lot of different changes for the better, molded the sheriff's office in a way to move us forward. He's done a phenomenal job on the budget and many other processes. So with that being said, he's also looked at his future and his career opportunities. So he's proposed that he is going to go back to Pima County and work there in a position that has become open, not in law enforcement, but in the Pima County government. And so that's going to leave us in a position of, again, looking at a job fair and looking for people, local, state, and federal, to see if we can fill that.
Well, and it is. It's surreal in the fact that he's brought us a long ways. He's a very talented administrator. We knew that during the recruitment process with him. He's also a very good friend of mine. But when you hire that kind of talent, you're in a competition bowl. You truly are, because everybody wants him. Finding talented administrators is a tough thing to do. Finding talented leaders is a hard thing to do, because most people that retire are retired for a reason. They do not want to come back into the bowl, if you call it such. Well, in this case, he got a very lucrative offer with Pima County, working with the county administration up there, and that'll come out here very soon. But in the midst of all that, and he's back home. That's his home, and there's potential beyond just that position. So again, he loves administrative work, policy, budgets, and he's a very, very good leader. And so obviously that offer stood tall. It really did. So when we talked over a week ago, I've sat on this egg, and it's a hard egg to sit on, because I don't want it to hatch. I really don't want this to hatch, but I know it's real too. So I wish Chief Napier well. I'm going to miss him. We're talking right now because we're in a lot of programs, our jail being one of them, as we push forward, is do we keep him on board part-time to help us fulfill those programs, because he's deep into them, or do we just transition into a new person? So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I do know that I wish Chief Napier well in his new endeavors up in Pima County, and I thank him for the service he's provided us over our last 7 months. Plus, he's made a huge impact. He just got through the budget year working with him on that. Again, I truly, I learned a lot from him in that aspect. But he's going where he's comfortable too. I mean, and I'm not saying that like he's running from us. One thing he said to us, and I got to repeat this, that he continually, him and I spoke all the time, obviously being my chief, was the fact he goes, you got a lot of talent here, Sheriff, a lot of men and women that are very talented. And I told him, I said, for a rural sheriff's office, I couldn't be more impressed. I mean, we're in the top elite of that. We're not a typical rural sheriff's office. I'm not saying that in a negative way to any sheriff out there, but what I am saying is we've done our work here, and it shows how we produce. So Yeah, and those were nice compliments coming from him, who's worked for, obviously Tucson PD, Glendale PD, back in Iowa, and being the sheriff of Pima County. So, again, I wish him well. I'm going to miss him. I think we all are in that aspect. But, as you say, Carol, ebb and flow. We'll push forward. We'll continue to look forward, and we'll continue to do the good things we're doing.
And the ebb and flow continues with our CCOM director, which is we have new personnel there as well.
Yeah, you know what's unique about this one? And Mike Klein, congratulations to him. We need to get him on the show here. Mike actually grew his career here. He's homegrown. His sister Anna Klein is on the city council for Bisbee. Mike was a captain, retired from Sierra Vista PD after, I think, 28 years, 23 years, something like that. I should know that. And I've worked with Mike through my tenure. And so he tested. He floated to the top of the talent list, and we've offered him a contract, which he signed, and we had our first meeting yesterday, and so I'm very impressed. I'm looking for good things out of Mike, and Mike doesn't have to. Doesn't have the learning curve of having to learn what CCOM is. He knows what it is. He knows how the sheriff's office work, how the local agencies work, our EMS, fire personnel, and in service to PD. So he just needs to continue that innovative approach, pushing it forward. So welcome aboard, Mike.
And there's just continuing down the path, there's just a ton of stuff that we're doing. We have a back to school. Believe it or not, people, back to school events are already starting. It's crazy.
School starts the first week in August, I believe.
Yeah. So what is that? Where did that come from?
I don't know. It seems like our calendar just seems to keep coming different.
It does.
It's tilting. I don't know what's it. Usually it's not till like the third week in August, because the kids get out, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not an administrator there for the schools or anything like that, but yeah, it's like they just got out of school. And we've been running summer programs for wrestling. We have our open mats, and we started that June 1st, and also we got about another week and a half, and we'll be done with that. And now they're going back to school, so it's like, so I'm going to give the kids an extra week off because they start school so soon. They're like, no, Coach, we love coming out here doing wrestling. And I love, coaching for them, but the bottom line is they got to have at least somewhat of a summer. So we're going to give them that time off. But, yeah, back to school. Here it comes.
Tomorrow, Sierra Vista Mall, or the mall at Sierra Vista. It starts at 10, goes to noon. Last year, we weren't able to do it, obviously, because of the pandemic. But in years past, there have been like 5,000 people there. So, Grady, thank you for assuming that role. Grady will be there tomorrow. He's going to be the sheriff's guy and be at the booth and talking to people and shaking hands and providing literature, all kinds of good stuff out there. So thank you for doing that.
You bet. It'll be fun.
It is a lot of fun, and there's all the kiddos coming through there. Excuse me. It's well attended. We'll be partnered up with San Pedro Kiwanis too, outside with the helmets, and also the fire departments and folks that do that. So look for us out there, and also we'll have our booth inside. And I have an event at 10 o'clock. As soon as that's over, I'm going to run over there. So I might be a little late, but I will see you over there also.
And then Bisbee has a back-to-school drive-through in 2 weeks. My days are messing up with me.
I think it is toward the end of
It's 2 weeks, yeah. So we'll have more information on that. So that's going to be a drive-through for the Bisbee back-to-school that we're going to participate in as well. But if you are, have kids and they're going back to school in the next couple weeks already, stop by the mall at Sierra Vista and take a look and see all the different vendors. I think that they usually have over 100 people there. Vendors there that give out things to help ease the transition from summer back into school.
And also, you get to hear Sheriff Mark Daniels on the show every Friday right here, but actually the whole world kind of wants a piece of Sheriff Mark Daniels because of our border issues. You're going to be on Fox News tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be back on Fox tomorrow morning with Neil Cavoto at 8 o'clock in the morning with him. And Carol and I were just talking about this. We're getting so many media requests. It's very tough, and we try to find the balance. We stick to our statistics, which are politically neutral. Stats are stats. CBP share stats with us. We have our own stats, and to give you the updates from January 1 till June 30th, just off our camera system, I just got these a couple days ago, is we've had 18,328 illegal entries, 40 drug mules, and over 807 pounds of illicit drugs. That's all just the sheriff's office camera system. And something I think the most staggering stat that I think the federal government puts out that doesn't get a lot of headlines, and it's unfortunate, is 1,100 people a day. 1,100 people a day on the southwest border, not just Cochise County, but all the border counties on the southwest. 1,100 people a day are seen on cameras and are getting away. And you add that 2,200, 30,000 a month. I mean, that adds up very, very quickly. And we got to do a better job. I'll continue to say that until we get what I call manageable control on the border. It'll never be perfect. I get it. Perfect's a bad word. But it at least got to be controlled better than it is right now. And so, yeah, there's an impact there. No doubt about it, there's an impact. In fact, there was a pursuit yesterday right in my neighborhood. So, again, it's impacting our communities. We got to get a handle on that and get some different changes out there.
And part of the changes that you're contributing to and working with different people in the government is you have an event tomorrow where you're going to be doing an interview or part of an interview panel. Is that tomorrow?
That's today.
Oh,
actually, today at 11 o'clock, I'm actually on a panel, been asked to sit on a panel for the commissioner nominee, and that's Chief Mangus out of Tucson PD. So I'll be sitting on that panel interview with him. And so to see how he answers some questions. Some of the things I just brought up here, first of all, I'll just be honest with you, I'll give you a pre-question, is how do you describe what's going on the southwest border? Do you think it's a crisis? I don't care what it's got to be at least concerning. I mean, we got 20-year record highs here when it comes to traffic on our southwest border. Now the cameras are stuck on Texas with children. I get it. That's an emotional draw. But let's look at the public safety, national security, and humanitarian threat of this. I see every day working with my sheriffs along the southwest border where people are dying. They had a case here just last weekend where a young 20-year-old female, they went to get stopped, they ran, they took off, they got away, they found the next morning and she was dead. So those are cases, and that happens every day. It's happening every day on this border. That's humanitarian, folks. So again, we shouldn't be dying on our southwest border here like this in such a frequent occurrence. So, and same thing happens here in Cochise County, whether it's a rescue or recovery. So, again, and I keep saying this, and Carol knows where I'm at with this, get the darn politics out of this. Let's get the policing back in place where it needs to be, and let's fix this. But it's got to be a collective effort of state, local, and federal working for one common cause, and that's community.
And also bringing the policing back into a lot of different phases. It's been a tough year for law enforcement. I mean, look at all of the assaults and deaths that have happened. So you were taking a look at that earlier, and I guess the newest statistic came out that they had how many officers shot this year?
We've had 29 officers shot by gunfire this year, and a total of just in the first 5 months, almost 6 months, 161 law enforcement officers have died in the line of duty. I mean, an average year runs 130 to 150. We're halfway through and we're hitting 161. We're in a deadly time in our profession. I'll be the first to say, you're talking about the hiring fair. Man, I'm telling you, recruitment's critical for us right now. Retention's even more critical. We can get them in the door, but how do we retain them? It's so competitive out there right now with law enforcement. Trying to find that one person. I mean, we're looking for that one guy or gal that we want to hire, and they're not coming through the doors. And this is part of the reason 161 people have died so far this year, and that's a staggering number. It's a sad number because this is an attack on communities. I keep saying that. You harm a law enforcement officer, you're harming the community, and the day we don't think that way, the day we're in trouble in our communities.
Well, let's talk about your stop of the week. What happened this week for you?
I was coming back yesterday from Wilcox from an event up there, and this car goes flying by me. Now, I drive an unmarked Tahoe. Most people in the community know what I drive. But you can tell it's a law enforcement government vehicle. So she flew by me, kept going. I'm like, out-of-state plate. And so I'm like, okay. So I get in behind her, clock her in on the radar. So I end up stopping her up on I-10. And I walk up and explain to her. I said, you know why I'm stopping you? She goes, I think so. Are you going to tell me? I said, I was hoping you'd tell me, which means acknowledging what you did. Yeah, I know I'm going too fast. I said, man, we're going 90 miles an hour plus. And she's like, yeah. I said, the first warning is the car itself. I said, did you not recognize that as a law enforcement vehicle? She goes, I did, but then I looked at the plate and it wasn't a government plate. And in Arizona, you see the G on front of it. That's a government plate. And so I thought, well, it's not a government plate, so heck, I'm good to go. And that's why she kept going so fast. Folks, in Arizona, we run cold plates, we call them. They're registered through motor vehicle. They are actually law enforcement government plates, but usually on unmarked vehicles, we don't put a G plate on our vehicles, and mine doesn't have one either. But that is a recognized law enforcement plate. We just don't have G's on it. So she goes, "Oh, I didn't know. Sorry about that." Me too. So I addressed it accordingly. But bottom line is, don't look at the plate, folks. Look at your own actions. Are you speeding, and is it a gross, unreasonable speed? You're going to get stopped, I promise you.
And
I know, you can't make that up.
and the community message. I know you're going to talk about domestic violence, and it even comes into play that over the 4th of July holiday, Tombstone had something very similar with a shooting that happened. So tell us about domestic violence.
Well, you know, domestic violence occurs in every community throughout the United States. I mean, we're not immune from that. We're not an exception to that. Bottom line, is happening. And I get it. When stress enters a family, enters a relationship, that's when you have domestic violence. Tombstone had an incident. We had our team over there. We had quite a few deputies over there this weekend assisting them, where an individual took a shotgun and shot a couple of rooms, and it was a bad situation. It really was. Again, I was on call this weekend, so I was involved in that. So let me explain the law and domestic violence. A lot of people don't understand. This is for my victims out there primarily. Number one, we take it very serious. It's zero tolerance on domestic violence, which is supported by the law. The law is not a may law, it's a shall law, which means if we get to a scene and we see the act of domestic violence where violence has occurred, that is no longer discretionary for law enforcement. It is a shall act, which means we will act on it. The state of Arizona becomes the victim of that crime. We relieve that pressure from our victims, where they don't have to say, I want my husband or loved one to be arrested, or my son, or wherever it may be. Domestic violence is all within the family, not just husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, or ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband, wife. It also involves grandparents and children. A lot of people don't realize that. But if we get there and there's an act of violence, we will respond, we will act, and that's a shall law. So it takes that pressure off the victim, saying we don't have to ask them if they want to present charges. That is a relief to our victim. Arizona's got a very good, strong, I think manageable domestic violence law when it comes to enforcing it. So it works very well. And that way when the husband gets out the next day or the wife gets out the next day, they can't blame the wife for being arrested. And that doesn't continue. That violence doesn't escalate and continue. The only one got to blame is the state of Arizona, and that's usually the law enforcement agency that's made the arrest, which that's okay. It's part of our job. We don't take it personal, but we will do our job on that. So, and I want to add this onto the safety message this week is, if you know you're in an unstable environment, there are resources, there are shelters within Cochise County that are there for you. You just got to reach out. And if you reach out to your local law enforcement, they can assist you in finding those resources, because once we respond, it becomes a different scenario. Let's avoid that. Give us a call, and let's see what we can do. And we can meet with you to help you do that.
Well, Sheriff Mark Daniels, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you, Grady. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Sierra Vista Animal Care and Control, Supervisor, Director, Woman of the Hour, Arlene Garcia.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, and it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And if you're driving to work or just getting there, just make sure you stay safe and have a good day. And we have Animal Care and Control Supervisor Arlene Garcia from the City of Sierra Vista. So thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me. You know, I always love coming here and do these things with you.
Well, we appreciate it. So tell us some of the things that are happening with shelters and rescues now that the weather is changing.
That's right. You know, it seems like every summer shelters and rescues and other animal welfare organizations get pretty packed. There are many reasons for that. People tend to move more during the summer, or they go on vacation and can't get their pet in a secure situation and decide they have to turn them in. There are just so many reasons. Fireworks. The storms. They're running stray. They don't get claimed. We just get packed during the summer, and we prepare for it. And right now we're pretty full. So what we are asking the public to do to help us is that if you're considering bringing your pet in because you can't take care of it or for whatever the reason might be, can you please hold off for a week or so? Give us a call next week, see if we have the room. Just give us a little time. We have this wonderful reputation of not having to euthanize for lack of space since 2015, and we wouldn't be able to do that without public support, and this is your way of contributing to that, because if we continue to get animals and we don't have the room, unfortunately sometimes we have to make those difficult decisions and sacrifice a few adoptable pets to be able to make room. We don't want to have to do that. Not having space is not a good reason to put an animal to sleep. So we'll do whatever it takes to prevent that, but we need your help to make sure that we don't have to put an animal unnecessarily to sleep.
And you have so many programs and opportunities there. You have something about volunteering to walk and take care of animals. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we have various levels of volunteering. We have our dog walking program, our cat cuddling program, and a program where volunteers that just want to come and help us clean kennels. We have that program, military program. We have a little bit of every type of volunteer opportunity. You must be 18 or older. Just come to the shelter, ask for an application. We make sure that you're not on America's Most Wanted, so we do a little background check because, we want to make sure everything is good. And then we'll get you signed up. We get you tagged along with another volunteer that has experience to teach you how to do the way we do things there at the shelter. And that's it. You are contributing to helping the animals. The dog walking program, we're allowing dog walkers to come in as early as 7 o'clock in the morning. That way it's nice and cool. If you can't walk the dog because of your physical condition or whatever it may be, you're welcome to take the dog into our playground. We have a couple of kiddie pools in there, and they love to jump in it. Or if you want to just throw the ball for them, they just need that enrichment, that time outside of their kennel. It doesn't necessarily have to be a walk. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, please contact us. It helps so much. And then with the kitties, if you've been to the shelter, they have this small space, the small area that they live in. Thanks to one of our volunteers and the Friends of the Sierra Vista Animal Shelter, we were able to install some portals into those kennels, and now they have like a 2-room apartment, so to speak. And so they have a little extra room, but they still need to stretch their little legs out too. So we get the cat cuddlers to come in, and they take the kitties out into the playroom, brush them, play with them, just let them hang out. They even have cat grass growing in the cat room right now, and they spoil the kitties with cat grass. I mean, it's amazing the group of volunteers that we have right now, and we are searching for more volunteers like that to continue to come in. And then we haven't had our Department of Correction inmates since COVID began. We're not entirely sure when we're going to get them back. I am going to be in a meeting today that's about that topic. But because we don't have the Department of Correction inmates, we have to rely on volunteers and our animal control officers to clean kennels in the mornings. So that takes our officers off the road, that takes our customer service rep off the front desk, and even myself, every now and then I have to, when we're shorthanded, I have to, go in and clean kennels as well, and then we spend all that time cleaning kennels and not being able to do our other duties. So we are always looking for volunteers that are willing to come out and scoop poop and pressure wash, or clean kennels and or clean litter boxes, and if you don't mind doing that, please come see us. Even when we do get our Department of Correction inmates, we will continue to ask for volunteers that are interested in cleaning, because we have the weekends. The weekends, of course, we don't get we wouldn't get the Department of Correction inmates anyway. We also have all these aluminum cans that we need to move from the bags that they're brought in into these giant bags to then get transported. So I'm always looking for volunteers that are willing to help us move around cans. So there's so many volunteer opportunities at the shelter. So if you're interested, please come by at 6799 East Highway 90 and ask for an application.
And another way you can help with the overcrowding is to adopt a pet. And you guys can do that by going to the shelter, but you also have a special event coming up this Tuesday.
That's right. So actually for the summer, so far we're doing the Dog Days of Summer Adoption Special. So normally our adoption fee is $75. It is now just $50 throughout the month of July. We'll reevaluate in August to see if we need to continue that special or not. But take advantage, because that includes the spaying or neutering, microchip, rabies vaccination, registration, fecal test, vet exam. I mean, that's all included in just $50. You can find your new best friend. So on Tuesday, we are planning on bringing our beautiful adoption trailer out that was donated by the Friends of the Sierra Vista Animal Shelter, and we're going to have 9 puppies available for adoption. Those puppies are currently all getting sterilized and vaccinated. They're getting ready for Tuesday. They're getting ready for our Tuesday puppy party, or our pick your puppy day, right? Well, something cute like that. The plan is going to be, you can come, we open at noon. You can come visit our trailer to look at a puppy, pick the puppy that you like, fill out an application. We're going to accept up to 3 applications per puppy, and it is still a first come, first serve, but since something might happen, there might be a cancellation, or a landlord might say, no, you can't have it, we'll then go and look at the next application. So even if you show up and the puppy is already quote-unquote taken, you can still put in your application just in case we need to call you and say, hey, this puppy's available now.
And what kind of puppies are they?
Oh, we have a variety. We have some cuteness mixes. I'm not sure what exactly they are. Maybe Australian Shepherd mix. We didn't have the mom, we didn't have the dad, so we're not entirely sure, but they're this beautiful golden color. One of them has olive colored eyes, and those, I call those the survivors. Those 2 puppies survived parvo. We worked really hard to make sure that they would make it. We have a litter of boxer, possibly boxer pity mixes. There's 6 of those. And there is a cute little dog named Finicky, and she's a small little maybe Chihuahua Dachshund mix. Who knows? When you look at her, she looks like a pocket-sized Belgian Malinois. She has that dark kind of color. She's so pretty, and she's cute. Oh, we have so many cute puppies. You just got to come and see. Even if you just want to play with a puppy, just show up and get that puppy breath and have a wonderful day after that.
It does something. You should see her face. She's
I know, right?
She's so smiley right now.
I know. Well, puppies make me smile.
She makes my cheeks hurt.
So give everybody your address, where to find you on Facebook, your phone number, all the contact information to either adopt or volunteer, or to find out about Puppy Tuesday.
Sure. We are located at 6799 East Highway 90, open Tuesday through Saturday from noon to 5. Our phone number is 520-458-4151. You can go on the City of Sierra Vista's webpage or the City of Sierra Vista's Facebook page to find out information about the shelter. Everything gets posted from the city's page.
And if you have cans, seriously, this is so awesome when I first found out about it. Take them to the shelter, like recyclable aluminum. And I know that there's certain things that you can and cannot accept, but I just hate to see when you have to throw that away because there's no other option locally.
That's right.
So a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't know that. So tell us real quick about your recycle cans.
Yeah, we have been accepting aluminum cans for years, but since all these locations that were for recycle in town have closed, we're trying to get the public to just bring all those cans to us. And I know there have been some complaints that our cans look a little unsightly over by the shelter, but I'll tell you what, unsightly or not, those cans are paying for a lot of things for the pets. So we collect the cans in a corner. We try to get them moved into these giant, I call them giant potato bags, and those giant potato bags get loaded on into our horse trailer and onto our flatbed, and we transport it to Tucson. And a load of cans in our trailer and the flatbed will give us somewhere around, depending on if the aluminum is good or not, anywhere between $500 to $700 a load. So this is quite significant, and it helps us pay for all those little extra things, like when we have an event. It'll help us pay for maybe the canopy that we need for this event. It'll help us pay for a special medication for this pet, or an extra, a special complicated operation. That money helps for so many things. We will continue to collect aluminum cans, unsightly or not. I think that, if there's an issue with how it looks, maybe come out and help us move it.
That's right. That's right. Looking for volunteers.
Absolutely. We're looking for volunteers. So we have this wonderful gentleman that came out and said, hey, I always come in and donate your cans, and I see that it's been kind of accumulating. Can I come in and help you? And I said, yes, absolutely. Here's my card, here's my email, here's the application. We'd love to have your help. And so he's going to get some of his buddies and neighbors and friends to come out and help us get the cans moved and everything else. So we've just been a little shorthanded, of course, with this summer vacations, and our volunteers, some of them are gone. Our employees, some of them are gone. So it's been collecting a little bit, but we love having them. We'll continue to accept them.
Well, Arlene, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
That's Arlene from Sierra Vista Animal Care and Control. And how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office, Carol?
So hit us up at our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff. We have all kinds of new and exciting things there because Cochise County has reformulated all of their web pages to look exactly the same. So take a look, and then you can hit us at our Facebook page at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels. So take a look.
It's First Watch on KWCD Country, brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.
Careful.